National Bank and Trust.
From the station that's on your side, News 12, First at 4 continues.
This time, 5 months ago, these walkways were much emptier, but today, a sign of Masters tradition is back. Patrons have returned to Augusta National. Spring is a time of beauty and new beginnings. Both could be found at Augusta National today. The course is back to its well-known springtime color.
And for a place known for tradition, last year was really unusual. A November Masters, no patrons, but today we are inching back to that tradition.
We sure are, and it feels good. Laura Warren takes us to the course where signs of spring and big names already have people buzzing.
It is springtime in Augusta, and it really feels like it out here today. The course conditions are perfect. The azaleas are just about to pop over on Amen Corner. And aside from a sea of masks and shorter lines, it just about feels like everything's back to normal out here in Golf Sanctuary. Defending champion and the #1 ranked golfer in the world, Dustin Johnson, was out here bright and early. He's definitely a favorite to win, which would be the first time a golfer clinched back-to-back victories here since Tiger Woods in 2001 and then again in 2002. But also a lot of eyes, a lot of buzz around Justin Thomas and former Masters champion Jordan Spieth, who just had his first PGA Tour win since 2017. So he's coming here on good energy, so that could be really fun to watch. So what's different out here this year? Well, patrons, there are noticeably fewer, and their giddy smiles are just little eye crinkles above masks. But the most notable difference out here this year is pretty glaring, and it's not related to the pandemic at all.
Tiger Woods. I was pretty disappointed.
He's a big part of the golf, and it made a big impression on everybody. And so having him here or part of this, I thought would be a great thing, and I really wanted to see.
Of course, as you know, Tiger Woods seriously injured in a rollover crash back in early February in LA. It shook the golf world, and for so many patrons hoping to see him on a course that really is synonymous with Tiger Woods, it's a letdown.
You know, I wish him the best with his recovery, and yeah, it would have been great to see him.
Tiger's been pretty quiet since his accident, except for a tweet or two just thanking everyone for their support. And we've already seen that same support out here today. As for the golfers who are going to be competing in terms of course conditions, you can't ask for much better conditions than we're seeing here today. It's just about perfect. Reporting from Augusta National, I'm Laura Warren.
She is so right. Beautiful way to start Masters Week. But this Masters is going to be different in a lot of ways. Of course, in November, a much different course than it plays in April, for one thing.
Oh, for sure. It is completely different. Sports director Mike Yakachonis talks to a few of the golfers about what they expect.
Yeah, guys, it's the most exciting week of the year in Augusta. After a phenomenal women's amateur and drive, chip, and putt, it's time to get to the world's best tournament with patrons, of course, in attendance. In November, every player who'd been in the tournament before commented about how the course was playing softer and more forgiving than it typically would in April. Aiken native Kevin Kisner, who says he's played the course hundreds of times already, is anticipating a very eventful tournament.
A lot different than November. There's a little bit of adjustment with the conditions. It's going to be pretty spicy if they keep progressing the conditions. I think we're in for a big weekend.
While we couldn't hear the sub-air systems working today like we did through much of the tournament in November, there hasn't been a need for it as Mother Nature is clearly doing her job. Coming from former Masters champions, it actually looks like they would prefer to have the course play on the firmer side.
If it stays dry, it'll be as difficult as the course has played in a long time, and that's what I think we need to have. We need to have the course firm, fast, and hopefully there won't be much rain.
I think the firmer the better as far as the way this golf course plays. I have no idea. I have not been here since December, and so I've heard that it is firmer and the grass around the greens is tighter.
Spieth went on to say a score of 10 under to become champion is what he thinks is ideal in the eyes of the competition committee. And let me add this as well. It doesn't matter what the conditions look like. These players are excited that the Masters is here. Whether we have another record-breaking low score or we have a tournament where 10 under wins it all, we're in for a great week, even if the weather doesn't end up holding up on us through the tournament.
You are so right, Mike. November was beautiful, but it was way too quiet out there.
It was. And it's a little noisy out there this time. Not quite as much. We're just happy we're not hearing thunder or some of the other springtime sounds we can hear in April.
Exactly right. Picture perfect weather in that first alert forecast.
developments in the breaking news we brought you in the last half hour. We have just received the mugshot of the Augusta Waffle House shooting suspect. Here's a look. This is the latest mugshot of Andrew Gaines.
The Richmond County Sheriff's Office says he was arrested in Columbia, South Carolina today. That shooting happening a couple of weeks ago by the Waffle House near the Southgate Shopping Center, which is on Gordon Highway. Nicholas Wilson died in the parking lot there. We're still working to learn more about how police caught up with the suspect today. A mother and father dead, 2 others from the same family taken to a hospital, including a child after a wreck on Plantation Road in Augusta over the weekend.
The driver, Francis Porter Jr., is now facing a long list of charges, including DUI and vehicular homicide. Sydney Heiberger spent the day learning more about the victims and what led up to the crash.
The car was traveling east on Plantation Road, and you can see markings in the street and on the side of the road here show where Francis Porter Jr. allegedly lost control of the vehicle, swerving off the side and coming to a stop here at this tree, killing his long-term partner Stephanie and her father Steve. Porter told investigators a car traveling the opposite direction came into his lane and he swerved to avoid it. Deputies say he's at fault anyway. Porter's family tells me they were coming from his grandson's birthday party and he had a few beers. Porter and another one of his grandsons were taken to the hospital, and deputies say they'll take Porter into custody once he's out. 2 of his daughters tell me it's a complicated situation, but they hold no resentment towards their father.
But that man's been in my life since I was 18 months old, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that he would have never intentionally hurt my mother, my grandfather, or my nephew.
We didn't find much of a criminal history for Porter, but he does have some previous traffic charges, including an open container violation from 2019. We'll go into that tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock. Reporting.
Thanks for that, Sydney Heiber. Police reports say the child was not in a car seat. Family tells us he broke his hip. An Aiken daycare worker arrested for reportedly punching a 3-year-old while on the job. We are just learning about the charges Nicole Charswell is facing after she was arrested March 26th. Police reports say she hit the child back in February at South Aiken Baptist Daycare. The daycare's director reported it to police, telling officers this wasn't the first time she's been accused of assaulting a child at work. Reports say the school put her on trespass notice.
Dr. Martin Luther King's family is using his death anniversary as a way to speak out against Georgia's new voting law.
A vigil with
furniture and home decor.
Thank you for our success.
Come in and join the celebration. Open Monday to Saturday. Second time around. 3690 Washington Road in Martinez.
Follow News 1226 on Twitter to keep informed with the latest happening near you.
Driver.
So what's your favorite thing to eat? This is just
With an appetite for adventure.
That's usually how it goes.
Kreskin Torres calls himself the rideshare foodie.
Alright, so this is the rideshare foodie.
His Instagram page shows the stops he has made across the country, hitting all 50 states. His favorite. He is an Uber driver.
So what's your favorite thing to eat? This is just
with an appetite for adventure.
That's usually how it goes.
Kreskin Torres calls himself the rideshare foodie.
Alright, so this is the rideshare foodie.
His Instagram page shows the stops he has made across the country, hitting all 50 states. His favorite food so far? A crazy combination.
Chili and cinnamon rolls. Chili, and you have your cinnamon roll on the side. I fell in love with that in Wichita, Kansas. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
On a recent ride to Stockton, he found International Flavors food truck.
This right here is your top seller. Okay, we're going to do this thing, man.
Owner Walid Tumbadi is grateful for the attention.
You know, by him doing this, you know, it puts a lot of these small businesses on the map.
The reason why I started was to get out to see what the real America was like.
Kreskin's cross-country adventure has revealed a nation he says needs to see more of itself. Communities of different cultures all have more in common than they often admit.
There's some people that just haven't been from one side of the city to the other. That's 15, 20 minutes. It's very interesting.
This is really good, man.
This is the remix.
A rideshare driver delivering delicious images to his food blogging followers.
Food is a common ground.
And offering food for thought
From Stockton?
on his all-American road trip.
America is amazing. God bless America.
Okay, he's got a great job.
Yeah, what an adventure he's having, huh?
Drive and eat. I could definitely do that.
Once he swings through Augusta, the barbecue's going to stop him. He may never leave.
For sure. By the way, he's been through 45 states so far.
And all he has left are Montana, the Dakotas, Hawaii, and Alaska. That's going to be a bit of a haul between Hawaii and Alaska, but that's a challenge.
Yeah, he can eat his way through the Dakotas.
Absolutely. When he finishes, he can start all over again.
Exactly. Riley?
Recircle, Riley.
And I'm sure he's going to find some great food at all those places as well. But great weather to head up to the lake tomorrow. We're expecting sunshine, high temperatures back in the 80s tomorrow. Now look at that 7-day forecast next.
We're thriving.